If you are looking for a light, quick but nutritious dish, then boiled broccoli, potatoes, carrots is a great choice. And today, I will guide you how to make this delicious dish. First, I put the whole broccoli on the cutting board. It looked fresh and crispy, just like a new vegetable. I gently used a knife to poke around the stem and separate each broccoli floret. Each broccoli floret, when cut, opened slightly, very beautiful, and had a characteristic natural aroma. Once separated, I looked again and saw that there were large and small branches. I cleverly cut the large branches in half to make them more uniform in size. Doing so helps all the broccoli pieces have the same size, so that when boiled, they cook evenly, not being mushy in the large parts or a little hard in the small parts. After cutting the cauliflower into even pieces, I put them all in a small pot. At this point, the cauliflower looked very fresh, but to ensure that all the dirt and impurities in the flour crevices were completely removed, I proceeded to clean it more thoroughly. I sprinkled some baking soda into the pot. This is an extremely useful ingredient to help clean vegetables safely. Then, I filled the pot with water so that the water covered the entire cauliflower. When there was enough water, I gently stirred with my hands so that the baking soda dissolved and spread throughout the pot of water. The feeling of the cool water and the cauliflower moving slightly was very pleasant. Let the cauliflower soak for about 7 to 10 minutes to let the baking soda take effect, helping to remove dirt and even small insects if any remained inside each flour crevice. When the time was up, I gently rubbed the cauliflower with my hands one more time to wash everything. Then I rinsed it with clean water to make sure there was no residue or baking soda left. Finally, I took the cauliflower out and drained it. Now I move on to preparing the vegetables that will be cooked with the cauliflower. First, the potatoes. I took a peeled and washed potato and placed it on a cutting board. I cut the potato lengthwise into 3 equal parts, then continued to cut them into small pencil-shaped sticks. This way of cutting helps the potato cook faster, and when boiled, the potato pieces will be soft, slightly crumbly, but still retain their beautiful shape. Next, the carrots. I chose a fresh carrot with a very beautiful deep orange color. I cut the carrot in half horizontally. Then from each half, I cut it into 2 smaller pieces. From these pieces, I cut them into small, bite-sized pieces. The carrot pieces, when cut, have a bright color. Just looking at them makes the dish look much more attractive. Once finished, I put the carrots on a plate with the potatoes and set them aside. I put a pot of water on the stove and turned on the heat. While waiting for the water to heat up, small bubbles started to appear at the bottom of the pot. This was the perfect time to add some seasoning to the water. I added about a teaspoon of salt and squeezed half a fresh lemon into the pot. Salt helps the vegetables to be more flavorful, while the lemon helps keep the vegetables green after boiling. Once the water in the pot was boiling, I added the potatoes first. Potatoes take the longest to cook, so they are always added first. I covered the pot so the potatoes would cook faster. When the water started to boil again and the potatoes started to soften, I added the carrots. Carrots also need time to soften, so adding them now was just the right moment. Next, I added the cauliflower to the pot. The fresh green cauliflower stalks floated lightly on the surface of the water, blending with the yellow of the potatoes and the orange of the carrots to create a very eye-catching pot of vegetables. When the water is just simmering, I reduce the heat to low and simmer gently for about 3 to 5 minutes. This is enough time for all the vegetables to cook evenly, retain their natural crispiness, and not become soft. When I feel the vegetables have reached the desired doneness, I use a slotted spoon to scoop them out into a colander. Let them drain and retain their original fresh flavor. Before placing the vegetables on the plate, I prepare a very light base to make the dish look more attractive. I drip a little olive oil on the surface of the plate and use a spoon or brush to spread it evenly into a thin layer. This layer of oil not only prevents the vegetables from sticking, but also creates a light shine, making the dish look fresher and more beautiful when presented. I gently pick up the boiled vegetables, light yellow potatoes, bright orange carrots, and bright green broccoli, and place them on top. Each piece of hot vegetable lying on the layer of olive oil creates a very harmonious color, looking simple but very eye-catching. After arranging the boiled vegetables on a plate beautifully, I started preparing the sauce to pour on top. I placed a small pot on the gas stove and turned on the heat to heat up the pot. When the pot was warm, I added a spoonful of butter. The butter melted on the bottom of the hot pot, giving off a very pleasant, light, fatty aroma. When the butter had completely melted, I added a spoonful of flour to the pot and stirred well. The flour mixed with the butter created a light, thick mixture. Next, I slowly poured in about 200 milliliters of fresh milk and continued stirring so that the flour did not clump. At this point, the mixture in the pot turned a very eye-catching milky white color. I added a spoonful of sugar to soften the taste and a spoonful of pepper to create a slight spiciness, making the sauce more aromatic and deeper. I reduced the heat to low and continued stirring well. The mixture gradually thickens, becomes thick and glossy. That's when the sauce is perfect. Once I reach the desired consistency, I turn off the heat and pour this hot sauce directly onto the plate of vegetables. The smooth white sauce combined with the green, orange, yellow colors of the vegetables creates a dish that is not only delicious, but also extremely beautiful. Just looking at it is attractive. After pouring a smooth, creamy sauce over the entire plate of vegetables, I continued to create another special layer of flavor. I sprinkled a layer of shredded cheese on top, just a thin layer, but enough to make the dish more fragrant and attractive. The cheese strands lay lightly on the green of the cauliflower, the orange of the carrots, and the light yellow of the potatoes, looking both harmonious and extremely eye-catching. Once the topping was completed, I put the entire plate of vegetables in the oven. Just bake a little more, the cheese will start to melt, blending with the sauce layer below, creating a smooth, shiny surface and giving off a rich, fragrant aroma. This is the transformation step that helps the ordinary boiled vegetables become a much more attractive dish, fragrant, rich, and retaining the natural sweetness of the vegetables. Just a few minutes in the oven, the dish is ready to enjoy. Hot, fragrant, and extremely attractive. So, from just familiar ingredients such as cauliflower, potatoes, and carrots, we have transformed into a delicious and beautiful grilled vegetable cheese dish. The vegetables retain their natural sweetness, combined with a smooth, fatty sauce and a layer of melted cheese to create a harmonious, light but still attractive flavor. This is a healthy dish, suitable for family meals, snacks, or days when you want to change the taste a bit. Hopefully, this grilled vegetable cheese dish will give you a new choice in your daily menu. If you find the dish useful and easy to make, don't forget to try it at home.